All right, I finally hit over 300 miles on the Rebel, and I'm doing a kind of a long distance mile per gallon test today. Hopefully, I'll be getting in at least maybe 300, 400 miles of driving, and I can give you guys an idea. So it's got 316 miles on it now, and I will kind of update you as we go along and give you the total mileage. I'm roughly traveling at 70 to 75 miles an hour most of this trip, so it's not necessarily the best scenario for miles per gallon. And I'm driving from northern Colorado down to Pueblo, Colorado, and then back home. So the elevation end point and start point should be identical. Should be a decent test for you guys that do a lot of interstate driving. Catch up with you here in a few. Hey, just figured I would jump in here, give you guys a little update on the trip. I'm probably halfway down to Pueblo, Colorado, and a couple things I've noticed driving this long distance. The Uconnect system, when you're connected through Bluetooth or CarPlay on your phone, it'll work fine for sometimes 20, 30 minutes at a time. And then I don't know if it's where you're passing through or the cars around you, whether there's interference with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, whatever it is, but I will just get disconnects. TRD John and others have posted this, but this Uconnect system, RAM, if you're watching, you need to fix it. This is unacceptable for a, approaching $60,000 to $70,000 vehicles. When Bluetooth doesn't work, and it has worked for 10 or 15 years in other cars I have old Kenwood systems in my Sequoia, and that thing never disconnects. You know why? Because all it's trying to do is connect music. It's not trying to send my data up to the cloud. It's not trying to do all this other fancy BS. So that is annoying. And even plugged in, I tried to plug it in through USB, and I thought, maybe it'll have a direct connection and it won't be using Bluetooth at that point. I think I may have to actually turn Bluetooth off or something, turn wireless connectivity off in order to attempt to get this to not constantly disconnect your music. So it's like a skip in a record. That's the best way to explain it. Super irritating and annoying. I know it sounds like a simple thing, but when you're traveling for hours in your car and it's doing it every 10, 20, 30 minutes, and then it'll do it for a couple minutes at a time, sometimes every 5 minutes, it'll just repeatedly do it, and then it'll stop doing it. It's frustrating, and that they've got thousands of reports by now, because this has been going on for a couple years now in this Uconnect ramp system. So just thought I would throw that out there, that it's just, my Volkswagen does it as well. My wife's car, it's got a brand new one of these systems that's all Wi-Fi based and CarPlay, and it does the same thing. We'll just be traveling along on the highway, and random places it disconnects. And again, these old systems that I have, these old little CarPlay boxes that I have, they don't disconnect at all. So come on, stupid. The driving manners of this truck. So with the bigger tires, I noticed going 75, 78 miles an hour, it will just float a little bit more than it would with maybe highway tires. If you are looking for a commuting truck that you can occasionally tow with and do truck things with, honestly, I would probably go with something like the Bighorn, something with highway tires. The tires on the Ram Rebel are a little louder, a little more floaty. Once you get above about 55, 60 miles an hour, it actually quiets down a little bit, but the hum goes away, but they still kind of float. And mileage is sitting at about 18 miles per gallon right now on the dash. We'll do a full test at the tank when I get there. But I've noticed, just the 392 gear ratio sits at about 2,000, a little bit above 2,000 RPM at 75 miles an hour. If you had the 355 gear ratio, you're going to be getting considerably better mileage on the highway if you do a lot of 60 to 80 mile an hour driving. So stuff to consider. Definitely, if you're just an occasional tower, you're not towing over 8,000 pounds, probably go with the 355. I know people want the 392 for drag racing and their starts and towing, but really I think it's actually the sweet spot might be the 355 and a Bighorn package if you're doing a lot of commuting. Anyway, I wanted to give you an update in this video. I'll do the mileage here shortly. Once we get down to Pueblo and then back, I'll do a full mile per gallon review for you and fill up in the tank just to see how far off the dash is. Talk to you soon. All right, man, that was a long day of driving Finally pulling into the gas station here. Take a video here just so people don't call me a liar. 347 miles on trip A, that's this tank. 20.4 miles per gallon according to this. And I had a ton of stop and go traffic as you saw in the time lapse, so it was pretty bad. 20.4 in the dash. Let's see. One thing that you will notice is with a 33 gallon tank, 239 miles of range remaining after already driving 347, so you can expect well over 500 miles of range even with the 392 gears and the Rebel package. So let's pump it and see what it comes out to. All right, so we're looking at $53, 17.511 gallons. All right, so if you do the math, 19.82, 347 miles divided by 17.5. So not bad. The trip computer on the truck isn't off by too much. So almost 20 miles per gallon. It's not really even, well, it is broken in now. It wasn't broken in when I started this trip. And that was with a lot of stop and go traffic in Denver, tons of hills. So when you go from like north of Denver down to Pueblo, there's a lot of hills and just, it's just up and down, lots of traffic. And I was going, if I wasn't in traffic, I was going about 75 to 78 miles an hour most of the time on the interstate. So I was really trying to push it up a little bit higher in speed just to give a little bit better test. I could get better mileage for sure if I'm going like between 45 and 65 miles an hour, the 392 is going to do a lot better. But hey, that should give you guys some idea. This truck does pretty well, even with the lift kit and the big tires and the 392s. Still pretty good. I would get the 355 and a Bighorn package if you really want ultimate mileage. You'd probably be able to pull 3 or 4 miles per gallon better than this. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.